Now, at this very moment, in some dimension of your consciousness, the person you wish to be is already real. Your work is not to create this person. Your work is to stop playing the role of one who is lost. It's to let go of the character who suffers, who seeks, who feels incomplete, and allow the silent presence that has always been there to take center stage. Perhaps you are sitting now, reading these words, and a strange quietness begins to settle. Perhaps you notice that, for an instant, thoughts have diminished. Perhaps you feel your body lighter, your breath smoother. Don't cling to this. Don't turn this into another search. Just notice. Just be. Peace is not a permanent experience. Peace is the capacity to be present with any experience, whether pleasant or unpleasant, without losing connection with what you really are. And here is a final invitation, a perception that could change everything. Pay attention to your breathing now. It's happening without your command. Air enters, air leaves, and you don't need to do anything for this to happen. Listen to the beats of your heart. They are happening without your permission. This constant rhythm, this uninterrupted pulsation, is life happening through you. Is this not the deep peace of the Himalayas happening within you, exactly where you are, exactly as you are? Monks spend years in the mountains to discover what was always there. They travel far to realize that they never needed to leave their place. The journey is not to find peace. The journey is to realize that you have always been the silence you were seeking, that the mountain you sought outside is the same mountain that has always been within, immovable, silent, present. So, the next time you close your eyes to meditate, don't look for anything. Don't expect anything. Just rest in the perception that you already are what you seek. Rest in the certainty that peace is not a destination. It is your nature. And nature doesn't need to be found. It only needs to be remembered. The mind, without realizing it, begins to silence. Not because you forced it, but because it has no more reason to speak. The mind speaks to alert the body of dangers. When the body is at peace, the mind has nothing to say. It rests. And in this rest, in this silence that is not produced, but that emerges naturally, you find the peace that meditation promises. The peace that depends on no technique, no effort, no control. The peace that is your deepest nature, just waiting for the body to remember how to rest. And now, after walking together through these internal trails, after looking at the traps of silence, at the hidden observer within you, at the forgotten frequency of the body, perhaps it's time to ask, what has really changed? Have you found peace, or have you only understood better why it always seemed so distant? The truth that the secret teachings of the Himalayas reveal is at once simple and overwhelming. It's not about achieving a superhuman state. It's not about becoming someone you are not. It's about removing what is inhuman, removing the tension, the desperate search, the fear of not being ready, so that the deep human, the essential human, can emerge. Peace is not an achievement. It's a return. It's coming home after a long journey in which you carried bags that were too heavy. Dr. Bruce Lipton, with his simple and profound wisdom, reminds us of something that cells already know. A cell doesn't try to be healthy. It simply is healthy when the environment is favorable and the membrane allows exchange. It makes no effort to be what it already is. Health is the natural expression of an organism in balance. In the same way, peace is the natural expression of a nervous system that feels safe, of a heart that is not at war with reality, of a mind that has learned not to take itself so seriously. You don't need to create peace, you need to stop creating war. And Neville Goddard, that master of creative imagination, leaves us a teaching that echoes through time. He said that the self that has found peace already exists. Not somewhere distant, not in some future time, not after years of practice. It could be in the palms of your hands, one against the other. It could be in the center of your chest. Just choose a point and rest your attention there. The second step is to feel the weight of your body. Notice how gravity is holding you. Gravity is not an impersonal and indifferent force. Think of it as an embrace from the universe. The entire universe is sustaining you, holding you, keeping you here. Let yourself be held. Let the ground receive all your weight. Let the chair, the sofa, the mattress welcome every gram of your existence. Don't hold anything up. Just fall into the arms of gravity. The third step is the most subtle. Notice that thoughts come and go, but you remain there, anchored in the body. The thought comes, you notice. The thought goes, you remain. You don't need to run after it. You don't need to analyze it. You don't need to fight it. You are anchored. You have a weight, a physical presence that no thought can shake. This anchor is your body. And this body, when relaxed, when safe, when held by gravity, begins to emit a frequency that the mind could never create. Let me tell you a metaphor that might illuminate this process. Imagine that you are a guitar. The body is the sound box, the wood that gives body to the sound. The mind is the fingers that play the strings. When the fingers play, the strings vibrate and music happens. But if you want silence, it's useless to ask the fingers to stop if the string is still vibrating. You need to wait for the vibration to cease on its own. The problem is that most people live with the strings always vibrating. The fingers of the mind have stopped, but the string of the body continues vibrating with old memories, with past tensions, with forgotten fears. Peace is not when the fingers stop. Peace is when the string stops vibrating. And for the string to stop, the body needs to rest. The body needs to feel safe. The body needs to know that the threat has passed, that the war is over, that it can relax. And when the body relaxes, my friend, something extraordinary happens. You may have a conceptual mind that has already understood everything about the law of attraction. You may read books, watch lectures, repeat affirmations. But if your body is in a state of contraction, in fight or flight mode, your vibrational frequency is one of survival, not peace. And the universe, or the quantum field, or whatever you wish to call it, responds to the frequency you emit, not to the speech you make. If your body is emitting fear, you attract more situations that confirm the fear. If your body is emitting peace, you attract situations that reflect the peace. Dr. Joe Dispenza, in his studies on cardiac and brain coherence, discovered something fascinating. He noticed that during deep meditation, the heart and brain enter into synchrony. They begin to vibrate at the same frequency. And when this happens, the entire body reorganizes itself. The nervous system stops fighting, the unconscious relaxes its defenses, and a new programming can be installed. But this doesn't happen through the force of the mind. It happens through the surrender of the body. There is a chemical mechanism that few know about and that may be sabotaging your meditation without you realizing it. It's dopamine. This neurotransmitter, responsible for the sensation of pleasure and reward, can become a silent addiction. Many people seek in meditation that spiritual experience, that ecstasy, that sensation of expansion. And when it happens, the brain registers, "This is good. I want more." And then you begin to meditate not to find peace, but to repeat the dose. You become a meditator addicted to peaks of ecstasy, but incapable of dealing with Monday morning. True peace is not a dopamine peak. True peace is a chemical signature of coherence. It's when the entire body says yes to life, without needing extraordinary stimuli. And here is a simple, yet profoundly effective technique to reconnect your vibration to your body. A technique that the masters of the Himalayas have taught for millennia, but that modern neuroscience confirms. The first step is to stop trying to empty the mind. This is important. As long as you fight against thoughts, they will win. Instead, place your attention somewhere in your body. It could be at the base of your spine, where you sit. Imagine a completely white movie screen. The film begins, and on the screen appear dramas, loves, farewells, tragedies, joys. The film may be an intense drama, the kind that makes you cry, but the screen never tears. The film may be a comedy, and the screen laughs with you, but is not confused with the laughter. The screen remains intact, immaculate, present. Have you been identifying with the drama or resting in the screen? Have you been the character who suffers or the consciousness that witnesses? This is the great turning point. This is the narrow gate through which few enter, but which leads to the peace that the world cannot give and cannot take away. There is an error so subtle, so well disguised as spirituality, that it goes unnoticed by most seekers. It's the attempt to calm the mind with the mind itself. You sit, breathe, and begin an internal dialogue. Calm down, thought. Go away, worry. Focus here, breathe. And what are you doing? You are using thoughts to fight thoughts. It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. The mind creates the problem, and the mind offers the solution, and you are trapped in this closed circuit, in this infinite loop, spinning without ever leaving the place. The mind is ingenious. It creates the sensation that you are progressing spiritually, when in fact you are merely perfecting your ability to distract yourself from yourself. And while this happens, the body is left behind. The body continues to carry the weight of decades of stress, of accumulated tensions, of unprocessed emotions. And the body, my friend, is not fooled by pretty speeches. Dr. Bruce Lipton has a phrase that should be engraved in the heart of every spiritual seeker. He says, "The body is the unconscious." It's not a metaphor. It's pure biology. Your body carries the memory of all the experiences you have ever lived. It knows things that your conscious mind has already forgotten. Limiting beliefs, traumas, old grievances, they are not stored in a mental file. They are inscribed in your cells, in the tension of your shoulders, in the tightness of your chest, in the knot in your throat. And here is the silent factor that sabotages your vibrational frequency. A storm may be happening outside, the winds may howl, the trees may bend, the rain may fall torrentially, but if there is a mountain there, immovable, witnessing everything without being shaken, that is peace. The Himalayan silence is not the absence of wind. It is the presence of a mountain that is not shaken by the wind. You may have thoughts, you may have emotions, you may have internal turbulence. But if there is something in you that is not shaken by them, that is peace, and that something is what you really are. Neville Goddard taught something that echoes this ancestral wisdom. He said that imagination is not just fantasy, but the very matrix of reality, and what he proposed was revolutionary. Assume that you already are what you wish to be. Not tomorrow, not after meditation, not when the mind silences. Now, at this very moment, you can assume the state of one who is already at peace. This doesn't mean pretending that problems don't exist. It means accessing a dimension of you that has never been touched by problems. It means inhabiting an internal place that the storm cannot reach. And here is a practical exercise you can bring into your daily life, an exercise that the monks of the Himalayas spend years perfecting, but that can begin right now. During the day, at some moment, when you are walking or washing dishes or waiting for a traffic light to change, pause. Just pause. And instead of asking questions to your mind, like why am I sad? Or what should I do now? Simply notice who it is that is asking the question. Perceive that there is a space of consciousness before the question. Perceive that there is a silent who that is prior to any thought. This who has no answer because it is the answer. This who is the crack through which peace enters. Not peace as a concept, but peace as a living presence. Let me offer a metaphor that might touch your heart. The Himalayan tradition speaks of the space between two thoughts. Most people imagine this to be a void, a frightening nothingness, but it's not. It's a presence. But the deepest traditions of the Himalayas teach that this I you believe yourself to be is merely a construction, a character, a role you learned to play since birth. And as long as you confuse this character with your true identity, peace will always be something out there, something to be achieved, something you don't have. There is a silent pain that accompanies this confusion. It's the feeling that there is an internal audience judging every one of your movements. You don't live, you perform. You don't meditate, you perform a meditation for yourself. Beware of the false meditator, the one who perfects the technique, who crosses their legs perfectly, who controls their breathing precisely, but who uses all this as a smokescreen to hide the wound they don't want to look at. This false meditator is cunning. They use spirituality as a new disguise, as a more beautiful mask for the same suffering. Dr. Bruce Lipton, with his profound vision of biology, helps us understand this in a very concrete way. He explains that most of our life is governed by the unconscious, which is basically a hard drive programmed by past experiences, inherited beliefs, family, and cultural conditioning. You can sit on top of a mountain in the Himalayas, but if your unconscious still carries the programming that the world is dangerous, that you are not enough, that peace is for others, your body will respond to that programming. Your heart will accelerate, your muscles will contract, your hormones will fire alerts, and you will wonder why, even in silence, you find no rest. Here is a little known and profoundly transformative concept, the bankruptcy of identity. As long as you believe that you are the person who needs peace, peace will be an external object. You will run after it like a dog chasing its own tail. But think with me. If you are the one who feels the lack of peace, how could you be the one who possesses it? If you are lack, how could you be fullness? It's a logical contradiction, but it's the trap that almost everyone falls into. The expectation break comes when you begin to suspect that true peace does not have the quality of calmness you imagine. It has the quality of a witness. Many people experience what I call silent post-meditation anxiety. They leave the silence, open their eyes, and become frustrated to see that the world hasn't changed. The problems are still there, people are still the same, life continues to demand. And then they think, meditation didn't work. But what happened is that they confused a truce with a peace treaty. For a few minutes, they achieved a truce, a temporary armistice with the mind. But the war continued there, latent, waiting. True peace is not a truce. It is the complete dissolution of the battlefield. Let me tell you a metaphor that the ancient masters used. Imagine an aquarium with completely cloudy water. You can't see the bottom, you can't see the fish, you can't see anything beyond this cloudiness. Most people, when they sit to meditate, try to pour clean water on top. They bring positive thoughts, affirmations, visualizations of peace, but the water remains cloudy. Meditation is not about pouring clean water on top. It's about stopping to stir the bottom. When you stop stirring the sand, when you simply observe without interfering, the water begins to settle on its own. Peace doesn't come from outside. Clarity emerges from within. And in the beginning, my friend, seeing the muddy bottom can be frightening, because you will see all the dirt that was hidden. But this vision is not a setback. It is the beginning of true purification. So, the next time you sit to meditate and the flood of thoughts comes, don't fight. Don't try to push. Just observe, as if you were on the bank of a river, watching the leaves pass by. You don't jump into the river to remove the leaves. You just let them pass. You are not the thoughts. You are the bank. And the bank is never bothered by what passes by. There is a question that few ask, but that is perhaps the most important of all. When you say, I want to find peace, who is this, I that is speaking? When you sit to meditate and observe your thoughts, who is the observer? When anxiety comes and you perceive the anxiety, who is it that perceives? Most people live their entire lives without ever asking this question. They assume that this, I, is obvious, that it is simply who they are. The invisible mistake that most seekers make is using meditation as an escape from mental chaos. They enter silence like someone entering a dark room to hide. But the mind is like a child who realizes you are trying to ignore it. The more you try to silence it, the more it screams. The more you try to push thoughts away, the more they cling to you. The Himalayan tradition teaches something profoundly different. It says that the mind is not a problem to be solved. The mind is a phenomenon to be observed. If your mind is like a branch swaying in the wind, most people try to hold the branch tightly, to immobilize it, to control it. But the secret is not to hold the branch. The secret is to let go and realize that you are not the branch. You are the wind that sways it. Or, better yet, you are the space where the wind blows. Dr. Dispenza, studying the neuroscience of meditation, discovered something that completely transforms this understanding. He explains that the brain is not turned off during meditation, it is redesigned. Neuroplasticity, that fantastic capacity of the brain to reorganize itself, does not happen when you are distracted or sleeping. It happens when you are conscious, present, observing. The problem is that most people sit to meditate and try to empty the mind by force. And what happens? The brain, accustomed to stress patterns, simply repeats the same circuits, the same worries, the same anxieties. You leave the silence more tired than when you entered. Why do most people fail when trying to meditate to find peace? Because they take the manager to organize the factory without realizing that the manager doesn't understand the factory's language. Your consciousness, that part of you that decides to sit and meditate, is the manager. But your body, your nervous system, your unconscious are the factory. And the factory doesn't speak the language of speeches and intentions. The factory speaks the language of sensation, of emotion, of cellular memory. When you try to command the factory to be silent, it rebels. Peace begins when the manager learns to listen, not to give orders. And here we arrive at a practical consequence that few perceive. True peace is not a mental state. It is a biological state. It's when your body, your mind, and your environment stop fighting each other. It's when your unconscious, which Dr. Lipton calls the subconscious mind programmed by your deepest beliefs, stops working against your conscious intention to be still. It's when your vibrational frequency, what you truly emit, aligns with what you wish to feel. And here comes a teaching that Neville Goddard, the master of creative imagination, left us. He said that true peace is not a state to be achieved in the future, but a self to be assumed in the present. You don't find peace. You become the person who is already at peace. The search for peace, when done the wrong way, when it's an escape, an attempt to flee from yourself, that search is the very war you wage against the now. So, perhaps the first question is not how to find peace. Perhaps the first question is, who are you in the absence of the search? Who are you when you stop running after something and simply realize that you are already there, breathing, existing, being? The secret teachings of Himalayan meditation do not begin with breathing techniques or advanced postures. They begin with an invitation for you to give up the person you believe yourself to be, to discover who has always been there, silently waiting. And that discovery, my friend, is the gateway to the peace that depends on no mountain at all. Perhaps you've already experienced this. You sit, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and suddenly, instead of the expected silence, a tsunami of thoughts comes. Worries about work, memories of something someone said yesterday, that endless list of tasks, and discomfort in your knee, the feeling that time is passing and you are not evolving. And then you think, I don't know how to meditate. I can't do it. This is not for me. But what if I told you that this tsunami is not a failure? What if I told you that it is exactly the purpose? that meditation is not about calming the waters, but about learning not to drown in them. When you close your eyes to meditate, what are you really seeking? If you could give a name to that invisible thing, that weightlessness you call peace, what would you say? Perhaps you are seeking a rest from the person you have to be all the time. Perhaps you are seeking an interval between one worry and another. And it is precisely there that the most sacred mistake lies, the most well-intentioned error a spiritual seeker can commit. Most people come to meditation like someone seeking shelter during a storm. They want to protect themselves from the chaos of the mind, from life's demands, from the inner voices that never fall silent. But what happens is that they bring the storm inside the shelter. They sit in silence, but the silence doesn't come, because inside them, the same war continues, the same judgments, the same haste. And then comes the frustration, the feeling that you don't know how to meditate, that peace is not for you. What the ancient masters of the Himalayas knew, and what few teachings reveal, is that meditation is not about silencing the mind. The mind will never completely silence itself. It wasn't made for that. The mind is like a muscle, and thought is its natural movement. Asking the mind to stop thinking is like asking the heart to stop beating. It's not about that. It's about something much deeper, something that modern science is beginning to confirm, and that ancient wisdom always knew. Dr. Bruce Lipton, studying the biology of cells, discovered something that completely transforms the way we view meditation. He noticed that the cell only feels safe when its nucleus, which carries the identity, and its membrane, which defines the boundaries with the environment, are in perfect harmony. If the environment is perceived as hostile, the cell contracts, closes up, enters survival mode. And that's exactly what happens to you when you sit to meditate carrying the perception that your mind is an enemy to be fought. You contract, and in contraction, no peace is possible.